More bad news for Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. A day after Eddie Hearn says that he was going to talk to DAZN about Andrade fighting Gennady Golovkin, it appears that Golovkin may be booked up because negotiations have now begun for Golovkin versus Jaime Munguia, leaving Demetrius Andrade out in the cold. And we going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. Really? Well, ESPN Deportes, they got a brand new article, and this is from Jaime Munguia's, a part of one of his promoters, Fernando Beltran of Zanfer Promotions, and it says, Beltran reveals talks for Golovkin, Triple G, and Jaime Munguia. You guys see, I've highlighted it for you on the screen. It says the promoter revealed to ESPN that negotiations for a possible match between the Tijuana native and Gennady Golovkin have already begun. Now, this is ironic because this comes a day after Eddie Hearn made this public petition and says that he was going to talk to the execs at DAZN and try to make Andrade versus Golovkin. And I did a video about that. Boom. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Boxingego, right? And my video says, great news. Gennady Golovkin finally pressured to face Demetrius Andrade next by DAZN promoter, right? You see the date and everything. So the video's up. Now, me not being a stranger to boxing and all the games that people play, I said in this video and also put in the description that this could really just be a muse. It could be like a ruse to act like we're gonna see Demetrius Andrade and Gennady Golovkin, which is a great fight, by the way. Two guys that are on the same platform. Andrade is continually called for the big fights. He's called out everybody. Charlo, he's called out Canelo, Triple G, Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders failed a drug test, never rescheduled the fight, right? And I'm not new to this boxing game. So I said that there's a chance that this wouldn't happen, so I wasn't going to get my hopes up, but I still made the video because at the time Eddie Hearn was saying that he's going to look to the leadership at DAZN and try to get that off the ground. So how is it that pretty much a day later you have Jaime Munguia's promoter, Zanfer promoter, and it says the Mexican promoter Fernando Beltran, head of Zanfer company, revealed to ESPN that talks have already begun for a possible fight between Munguia and Golovkin, which, if it materializes, would shorten the possible rivals of Mexican Canelo Alvarez and May to 2, Billy Joe Saunders or Caleb Plant. So you guys can clearly see the politics that are involved with boxing. If Billy Joe Saunders or Canelo Alvarez could fight Caleb Plant, we all know that it's likely Yildirim and Billy Joe Saunders over Yildirim and then Caleb Plant. Canelo's a free agent. We'll see what he decides. But at the end of the day, we know the politics. So that's that with Canelo. But Golovkin, literally a day after they clout chased and said like they're going to try to make the Andrade fight, it looks like it's capped because this doesn't make sense. Munguia's trainer is going public saying we've already begun negotiations for this fight you see on screen. Had no guys had maxes, punches, nothing. Tick, tick, tick. Right? Golovkin versus Jaime Munguia. But I thought Eddie Hearn was looking into Demetrius Andrade versus Golovkin, which I told you I'll see it. I got to see it to believe it. And here's the ironic thing. Eddie Hearn signed Golovkin. So Eddie Hearn had to have known, look, Gennady Golovkin and Eddie Hearn signed a deal and announced a partnership. So if Eddie Hearn is promoting Demetrius Andrade, but he's also managing and promoting the career of Gennady Golovkin, then how did he just tell us yesterday that Demetrius Andrade, he was going to talk to leadership at DAZN to try to make this fight? But then 24 hours later, Jaime Munguia's promoter says, hey, we've already begun. He just told you. He says, we have already begun. Talks have already begun for a possible fight between Golovkin and Jaime Munguia. So we know what the real play is. you know, they're doing Demetrius Andrade so bad on DAZN. DAZN, they bragged Eddie Hearn at one point when they were coming onto the scene in America, and they bragged and said, hey, if you want a career, Charlo, you got to sign to DAZN because we got all the best guys from 160 to 168. You'll be nothing without us. But the reality is the only fight that they really made, that they needed to make, and the fans demanded, was Canelo versus Jacobs, Daniel Jacobs unification. But a lot of these other fights, Triple G, Steve Rolls, and Triple G versus Camille Says Meta, right? These fights didn't really need to happen. Canelo Kovalev at 75. Nobody was asking Canelo to jump up to 75 and fight a withering Kovalev. But as you guys can see, the politics. So Demetrius Andrade is getting treated so bad. The man has been around for a while, since the HBO days. We've known about him, US Olympian, and he doesn't seem to get a fair shake. True boogeyman. The day after Eddie Hearn says he's gonna, you know, pull for Andrade to get a Triple G fight, it looks like that's cap, because Munguia's trainer, or promoter, excuse me, is saying that we're in talks with Golovkin as we speak. So Eddie Hearn's supposed to manage Golovkin and promote. So who would they be in talks with? So you guys know the drill. Demetrius Andrade, true boogeyman, being disrespected, can't get a big fight. He's called out the best. He called Canelo a bitch in a video. He's been calling out Golovkin. He called out Charlo. He was scheduled to fight against Billy Joe Saunders, but it was Billy Joe Saunders who failed a drug test and then never rescheduled the fight, never listened to the call outs. So, you know, Demetrius, look, there's Billy Joe Saunders right there and Demetrius Andrade, but he failed a drug test and they never rescheduled a fight. I don't see how Andrade could be happy with his career the way it's progressing. He's a highly skilled fighter, ring IQ. You know, you can say whatever you want about his style. I don't care. Fight him. If you don't like his style, knock him off. You know, how does Jaime Munguia get an opportunity with Golovkin, a silver medalist, but this is a US Olympian, and the fight will likely take place in the US, but they want to pitch Golovkin versus a guy from Tijuana that just moved up to the weight class, right? Just moved up, but this is a champion at 160. It makes no sense. Now, the sad thing for Andrade is he could be one of those people in boxing that, based on, you know, who he's aligned himself with, he doesn't reach the full potential, because time is not on his side for boxing. He's already 32 years old. So if you're 32 and you can't seem to catch a break, and then meanwhile Jaime Munguia, he's only like 20 something and he's getting Toriano Johnson, and look, he's 24 years old. He was born in 1996, right? Born in 1996, and he might get Golovkin. Now, Golovkin was trying to fight him when Canelo failed a drug test in the past, but I think it was NSAC, Nevada State Commission. They didn't approve it because at the time he hadn't beat Saddam Ali, and he was only like 19 years old or whatever when it happened. So they're like, we don't know enough about him, and he would have been moving up from 54 to 60. So they didn't approve that matchup. But now he's already went through 54. He fought Liam Smith and knocked out Saddam Ali, who beat Cotto, and just fought Toriano Johnson, landed some good shots. He might get the Golovkin fight. He also had the Spike O'Sullivan fight in San Antonio. So everybody else's career is progressing except for Demetrius Andrade. Again, I don't see how Andrade could even be happy with the promotion. He'd be better off promoting himself, just some type of free agent, and just trying to land fights, or I don't know what he can do, Clubber Lang style, and just pull up to people's press conference and, you know, create a scene or create havoc. But they're really doing this man wrong. Again, Eddie Hearn, he's saying, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to the people at DAZN to try to make this fight. But I don't think he really had intentions. And I said that in this video. I'm not dumb. I'm born at night, but not last night, you know, because how do I make this video and then within one day there's a contradictory video with Jaime Munguia's promoter saying, hey, we're in talks to fight Golovkin. It says, we are doing well. I think we have a good chance of this fight. We are just talking. So again, there's a chance. It says Beltran about the possibility of Jaime Munguia and Golovkin. IBF champion. So Jaime Munguia, age 24, has the opportunity at a title fight. It's actually not even a horrible fight, but you could tell they're probably trying to align the winner with Canelo, you know, which is another fight. I don't want to even see Canelo Triple G3. And if Jaime Munguia beats Triple G, then is he ready for a Canelo? Meanwhile, you got Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez that look like they're ready for Canelo now. Guys like Caleb Plant, you know, Dimitri Bivol been calling out Canelo. Boxing is starting to be on some really weird movement. And DAZN is foolish for even footing the bill, paying for Canelo and Avni Yildirim and fights like this. Like, and then you had all these people and bragged about the top names at 160 to 68, but you haven't really done nothing with them. You're not. Triple G got equity in the company, and he's getting overpaid for the amount of labor he's doing with the fights and the anticipation level of his fights. And he has all these perks, but you won't put him in a tough fight. 2 Olympians, silver medalists, and Andrade, 2, you know, Olympic people who competed in the Olympics, but Andrade can't get no type of looks. Andrade hasn't had a big fight since the HBO days. Vanes Martirosyan was probably his biggest fight, and boom, we got action. The Vanes Martirosyan fight was in 2013. So it's about to be 2021 in a few days. We're literally going on 7-8 years ago. And he hasn't really had a fight bigger than this particular fight since that point. So it's a shame what's happening. Congrats to Jaime Munguia if he does get the Golovkin fight. It's not a bad fight, but I knew Eddie Hearn was likely capping because it seemed too good to be true. And that's what I learned. When it seems too good to be true, it usually is. Use my link, get ESPN Plus. They have a ton of original content, docuseries, and more. It's $5.99 for the standalone app, or get the bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 of those apps for one low price of $12.99 a month. Let me know what you guys think. I just feel bad for Andrade because tons of skill, and they dogging this man. They dogging him. They won't give him he can't get Billy Joe Saunders. He can't get, like, who can he fight? He's a champion. He's a true boogeyman. He's a champion and can't get no big fights, like, with no big name that would increase his profile. It's just a shame that boxing allows stuff like this. And meanwhile, people are talking about Crawford and Spence. Look, even Derevyanchenko, he can't even get that. He can't even get a Derevyanchenko? He can't even get a Derevyanchenko? I don't know if they friends or something, but, like, man, he can't get a Derevyanchenko? A Billy Joe Saunders, a Triple G, a Canelo? He couldn't get Caleb Smith? Man, a John Ryder, nothing. And he with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn got a lot of these guys, or DAZN got a lot of these guys. And wasn't Jaime Munguia, Demetrius, and this is cold-blooded, bro. This is modern day black murderers, bro. Wasn't Jaime Munguia the mandatory for Andrade? Let's look. Munguia plans to stay at 54, but welcomes an Andrade showdown. But nobody's making the fight. This was January, the first month of 2019. So he said he welcomes it, you know, in this article in January, but where's the fight? Like, he can't get, why can't Andrade fight Munguia and then the winner fight Triple G? Bro, look. He is the man. I knew he was the mandatory. I told you. See, I know my boxing, y'all. Bro, he's the mandatory. Look, there it is. There it go. I'm the greatest. Munguia, who is the mandatory challenger for the WBO champion and is ranked number 2 by the WBC, is eager to get back in the ring. So how come DAZN is not pressuring to set up Andrade versus Munguia, but Munguia is Andrade's mandatory? This is insane. And then he gets rewarded, right? Look, Demetrius Andrade tells Munguia, whatever this says, he'll slap up Mexican brother to get the fight. See? So Andrade talking greasy. Look. So he called out Munguia too. He can't get nobody. Man, he might as well just buy himself out of his contract and you know, and try to do, like I said, do some Clubber Lang stuff. This is crazy. So Munguia is Andrade's mandatory, But people are saying Sean Porter needs to hit up the WBO to try to fight against Terrence Crawford, but they're not saying Jaime Munguia should hit up the WBO to fight Andrade, which is a great fight. Munguia pushes the pace, and Andrade does a lot of different things, and he's a southpaw. And Munguia don't have much of a defense, but he has a lot of action, electrifying shots. And Andrade, like I said, he mixes it up, does have a defense, etc. And there's no pressure for an African American fighter in America to get none of these fights. But Jaime Munguia might get Triple G, but Andrade can't get Triple G. You know, this man might as well just retire and be a commentator or buy himself out of his contract or something. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We were. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.